me open this in Explorer, sorry, in Chrome, and then I'll go to contact.html, and this is the list. So far, this is what we have reached. So first of all, just to remind you about the process, you do the repository first, test it, then you make it accessible through a URL, test it, and then you create an interface and make use of that URL to either get the information or post the information. Okay, so we went through the end-to-end process, and now we want just to continue that process and do one more case, which is post. Let's say we create a new form where we will be able to enter the details of a contact and then add it to the file. So we always start, it's better to start from, let's say, bottom up. You create a repository function to write to the file, test it, then create a REST service, or basically a URL handler to handle the post request, test it, and then create the interface and connect it with the web API or the service, and then test it. So you test all along. So let us start with the add, ability to add some element to the file. So where do we put this add? In the repository. Thank you. So because the repository, by definition, is a class that is responsible of reading and writing from a data source, which is in our case a file. The reason why we separate this code from the rest is that if tomorrow, which we will do, inshallah, after the break, we will get rid of the files and use database. In that case, we only need to change the repository. The rest will not change. So in addition to being organized and keeping things under control, it will make life easier when things change. Okay? So here is my repository. I'll go to it. Oh, sorry. Here. Here's my repository. And then I will add one more function here. What the name should be, do you think? Add. So add contact. What do you think it should take as an input? No, here we are not thinking about the web. Very important. Always think in isolation of the web. This is just a repository. Sorry? Okay. But we don't pass these as pieces of information. We pass them as an object. So what is the name of this object? Contact. So add contact takes as a parameter a contact. That's it. All right. No, I'm not changing this. Look, yes, I'm not. I will add another function that does the linking. In here, it's really very important to have. This one will be very generic. I can use it from the console. I can use it later on from the web. So I'm not mixing the HTTP concept, the web. I can call it. I'm not mixing the REST service or the handling the URL with my repository work. My repository function, it has nothing to do with the web. It will work without any web. In fact, we will test it without even having the web in mind. Okay. And why are we doing this? Why are we making our repository independent from the web? We can test it. We can make it simple. We can reuse it. Maybe I'm just using this for myself. I don't want to make it available to everyone. Why should I create a web service and an interface? Okay. Also, later on, when I change this, instead of reading and writing to files, I read and write to a database. I only need to come to this repository and change it. Nothing else, I should touch nothing else. So this is very important in terms of maintainability. It makes it easier to modify and maintain. But if I mix the web stuff with the repository stuff, it's much harder to change. I might change and break something else. But in here, this is totally isolated from the remainder of the application. Okay, so how do I add? How do I add? So first I read everything into an array, add the element to the array, and then save the whole thing back to a file. So how do I read? I already, first of all, because this one is an asynchronous function, so it will return a promise. I explained last time this. If you rely on promise, you can only give promises to others. You cannot give them a definite answer right now. So definitely this will return a promise. And as we said, we will go ahead and read all the contacts. When I get them, I will say here contact.push. No, I will go to that contact. So I go to the array. So this is an array. If I want to add an element to the array, there is a method on the array called push to add an element to the array. And then I'll go and save this file. I save this contact back to the file. So just to save a bit of time, I will borrow a function from here. If I go to the Hero repository, there's a function here called the write to a file. I will just copy this one. And just to save time, I will put it. These are very generic, can be used anywhere. You give it a path, and you give it some data, and it goes and saves it. Again, writing to a file is also asynchronous, so it is wrapped into a promise. So, sorry, once I am done with that, I will come here. Okay, here is my add. So far, I have already added this. So now it's time to save it. So let me just remove this stuff, because I don't need it. So to save it, I will just say this. Dot. Oh, sorry. All right, sorry. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, so I will do this dot write. No, right. I can, of course, this is generic one I already created, so I will just make use of it. What does it take as a parameter? File path. Path is this one. Yes. I want to write back to this same file. And what do I want to write back? The contacts. Okay. This one is also an asynchronous call. So it will return me a promise. It will not do it immediately. I will not block my function and wait for it to do its job. So the way I compose promises is by the way, what I do when I finish a promise, I return you another promise. Okay? And in here, I will come and say then. Okay? Sorry. This will not return me anything. I will explain. It's a bit confusing. The save, when you save to a file, you're not expecting anything back. Okay? So that's why I am not putting anything in here. And then once it is saved, it's time now to resolve the promise. I will say resolve. They didn't give me anything. I will not give you anything. Simple as this. If something goes wrong, I will do error and pass it to you. I have nothing to do. I can't do anything with it. You asked whatever they have. If they fulfill, I will also fulfill. If I get some error, I will pass it to you. That's it. That's the idea of this programming model. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. There is one more thing. Usually, I know it's a bit scary, but as you do it once, twice, you will get used to it. Okay? This pattern of using promises. It's a fundamental skill that you need to build as you go. So let me just summarize it. To be able to add a contact, I read all of them into an array, and then add the new one to the array. And then I go ahead and save to the file. But because this one also returns a promise, I need to basically say, OK, I finished this task. It's time now to give another promise and wait for it. So I return another promise and catch it in the then. When this promise is finished, it's time to say, OK, it's time to return from this function. If something goes wrong, I just pass it on to whoever called this one. There's one more thing to do. Usually, the client does not know the ID. For example, new students come and register in the university. They know their name, their address, and their phone numbers, but they don't know the ID. Who decides the ID? The server side, the university in this case. So in our case, how do we know the ID? We will just go here and get the last ID that was used, and we add 1 to it. Okay? Many ways of doing it. One way, let's keep it simple. I will just loop through all the contacts. Let contact off. No, let's not confuse it. Let's see contacts, all right. Sorry? Yes, can we do that? Yes, I think so. Yes, you're right. So let contact ID equals contacts dash contacts dot length -1. We go to the last element, okay, and then +1. Of course, ID +1. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, if you delete, yeah. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know the idea. You can loop through the whole contacts, get the maximum, and add 1. Or let's do it in a lazy way. Assume the last one is the last one. I go to the last one, get the ID, and add 1. It doesn't matter. Let's keep it simple for now. I want to the last one. Is it called ID? Contact. Yes, contact ID. So here it is. So let me go here. Sorry? Content.length. That one is even a little bit worse because I might have many contacts and I deleted some. So the link now, maybe I'm already in contact 10, but I deleted 6 of them. So if I do length, that is even more risky to have duplicates. This is more safe. At least I go to the last one +1. Is clear? Anyway, many strategies of doing this. That's not the main point. Okay, is this finished? Is kind of a bit clear? A bit scary, but clear. All right. Now it's time to test it. I cannot move, just say, oh, this is working, let me move to the next step. So I'll go here in this contact test. Let me just comment this because I don't need it. Comment with block. And then I create a contact. Here is a contact equals. And I create an object here. Let me just copy one of these. Here it is. Of course, I have to, because this is an object, I don't need to put. All right. Okay, that's it. This is an object. I don't need to provide the ID. All right, this one, no need. All right, okay. Okay, I don't know. Which name? Which name do you want? Which name do you want to add? Yasmin. Okay. Okay, same number. All right. That's it. This is a contact. Now, what do I do with it? I want to go ahead and add it. Here it is. Go here, dot add, and I pass it in. This is the promise. It's not fulfilled immediately. When it's fulfilled, it won't return. I don't think it will return me anything. Although I can make it return. Sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back there. Where is it? Oh no, there are some bugs. There are some bugs here. Here we did the work, but we never actually made use of it. So I have to do contact ID. Oh, sorry. I generated the ID not to just to generate it. I wanted to assign it to the contact. So you ask me, please add this contact. I generate an ID and assign it to that new contact. And by the way, it's a good idea to return the contact here, because the requester will know their ID. Okay? Sorry, the requester knows the ID of the newly added contact. Okay? Yes, please. Will it work? Yes, because this one is an object. So that object, when you push it to the array, you still have a reference to it. Any change to that object will change the array. Okay? Because it is an object. All right. So that's it. We are done. This is a much better version. So when we are done, we will get a contact again. Let me call it, just not to confuse with the one I have here. I will have the new contact that was added. And then all I need to do I need this? No. All right. So I'll do console.log. New contact. Okay. So sorry. So I call this add contact, give it the contact I want to add. The contact does not have an ID. So this one is asynchronous, and it returns a promise. I have to hope for the best. If everything goes okay, I will get my contacts coming back to me, but with the ID. If something goes wrong, I will catch it and let you know. So here it is. I will do catch. If something is coming as error, I will just put console.log. All right, that's it. We are ready to test it. So right click and run. In Resolve, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did. Okay, so the reason why. Okay, I see.
Can you put it then between parentheses then you put contact, resolve contact?
No, because this one then means this one is returning. This one is not returning. Yeah. This contact is coming from this up here. Yeah. So let me just make sure where I am up to here, just to make sure I have something here. All right, and let me rerun this. Yeah, okay, so it's not coming there.
So it's maybe there is something wrong with the right.
Okay, so let me just to see where I reach. Yes. So let me come here, see if it reaches here. Okay, so up to there is fine. This is the contact ID. Now, this is the most suspicious one, is contact. I pass this to here, so let me see what's going on there. I get this, I stringify it. If there is an error, I give it back to you. If not, I will say everything went fine. Okay, so why this is not working? Return. Oh, yes. Of course it will not work. here, here. It should be like this. So the way it works, I finish my work, I return you another promise that you have to hope for the best for it. This is returning promise, this is hoping for the best. Okay, it came back, and I resolve it and give you back the contact. Now, there was a syntax error, basically. So I don't want too many of these guys, because they will be annoying more than help. Okay. What's going on here? Sorry. So that's for this. Yes, this one for this. And I need another one here. It's amazing. Okay, that's it. So this hopefully now should be fine. So let's try it. Very good. 7. You get the idea? So don't trust your eyes. You say, oh, looks perfect. This will work. You saw it yourself. All of us try to collaborate, do it together, and we still made mistakes. So, khalas, this one is innocent. If there is any problem later on, you don't even need to come here, because this one is fully working. Is clear? Yes. Now, if I want to add a contact, I don't want to get my users to do GitHub and do download and run this program themselves. I want them to just go on the comfort of their web browser and do this work. So it's time to write a REST service or a service that will make this functionality available through the web. So the magic here, we will go to our app. We already started this server. And we just add one more route, one more URL, and we handle it. So the closest one, I guess, could be something like this. Let's try this one, just to save a bit of time. So I'll come here. But people who are coming to send some new contact to be added, they will come using post, not get. And then what I will do, luckily, I can just here the contact will be definitely coming in the body of the request. So I go request.body. So I expect the requester to put the contact they want me to add. I expect them to put it in the body of the request. Remember, a request has a headers and body. The header has which verb, which URL, and the body has the content that I want the server to do something with. That's it. I have this at my hand. It's now time to just use it. Basically push it using the repository. So just to save a bit of time again, I will use this. This becomes handy. Testing, and now 2 birds, 1 stone. I can steal this one and just place it in here. All right? Now, in here, okay, everything went fine. I added this. All right? And in here, I have to now let the user know. Don't tell them anything. You should inform them that everything went fine. So how do you tell them? You just give them back بضاعتنا ردت إلينا. Give them back what they gave you, and they will be happy. They will see it. They will see the new ID, and everything will be fine. But in the web, you have a much better way of telling this information. Instead of sending 200 OK, no. Basically, instead of sending 200, which will be okay, but not the best. You should instead send 201 created. So how do I send this information? And also I send the location. I tell the browser, by the way, new entry has been added, and the location of this new entry is this. Okay, so let's try to do that. So if everything goes okay, I will tell the requester. I say response.status 201 created, and then .send. I will just tell them, let me create a little variable here called location. And basically the location will be /API/contacts / sorry, here it is. new dot contact ID. This one should be the inverted string, the inverted code. Here it is. That's it. This will give me the location. I will tell you here. I can tell you, just send it like this. But this is not, this is just information that will show on the browser. But I better add also a header to the response. There is something called response.location equals this. Okay. So when this will become clear when we test it. So if everything goes okay, you will get 200 okay and another header in the response called location. And what that location will show you? The URL of the newly created element. If something goes wrong, it's more than just displaying it. I have to tell you. If I just display it, only the server will, if somebody is sitting on the console, which nobody, these servers are isolated, most of the time they don't have even a screen. They have just the box, there is no screen. So even if we do console, nobody will see it. We have to be transparent with whoever is requesting us to provide service to them. Either do it and tell them everything is fine, or tell them it failed. Don't just be quiet. How do we say, no, sorry, it failed? How do we say so? Response.status. It failed because of me, because of the server, 500. It's not you to blame, the client. If the client is to blame, you send something with 400. There are a lot of 4s. The famous one, of course, is 404. There are other 4s, like maybe the input is invalid or some other things. And then I will also give you further details with the error. Okay? Is this clear to everyone? Now it's time to test this. It's time to test it. So let's test it. Yes, please. Semicolon. The location. Oh, yes, here. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, here, res. Yes, thank you. You can call these, by the way, anything you want. Request, response, res, rec. It's up to you. They are variables. You can call them X, Y. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. The more meaningful, of course, the better. Now it's time to test them. Unfortunately, plain browser will not help us, because here I want to post. Of course, for getting, no problem. No, it's under API. Remember, it's under API. So here is API. This gives me all the contacts. If I want one particular one, I can go directly to it. Now, I want to create a new one, which means I have to do a post. When I type something on the address bar and hit enter, what type of request the browser generates? A GET. But what is my goal here? Generate a post. Unfortunately, I cannot generate a post to test it using plain browser, unless if I create a form and fill up the form and then submit it. But I'm not ready to do that yet, because I'm not confident if this service is working. I want to test it without writing any code. So you go to Mr. Google and say, please help me solve this problem. And you just look for this Postman Chrome plugin. Okay? You download this plugin. It's very famous. It's a 5-star plugin. Here it is, how it looks like. So I'll go, first of all, test it. Here is 9090/contacts. And I will do get. Yes, thank you, /API/contacts. Here is the get. It works. Here is the get for one particular element. It also works. I'll take this one. I want to create a new one. So I'll use post. I will send it to /contact. And I'll go to the body of the request and paste this. I don't know the ID yet, because the server will generate the ID. Here, sorry, Sarah. Okay, Sarah. All right, all right. That's it. And also, I need to tell the server. Don't worry about this. This is not. I want to tell the server what type of content I am sending. So when the server receives it, it knows that this is JSON, or it's text, or it's whatever I'm sending. So to tell the server what type of content I'm sending, what do? I add this header called content type, and I say this is application.json. Okay. Now is everything ready? The header is there, the body is there, the right verb is there. It's time to send it. If I go here, oh, not found. It's complaining not found.
No, the slash is extra slash.
Is extra slash? Let me first see. Let me see what we have here. We were all right without slash. Let me see. It's supposed to be. The slash should not upset it. But anyway, let's try. No, the slash should not upset it. All right. Oh yes, I know. Anybody can guess? Yeah, already running. Whenever I change, I need to restart it. That's why it's not. I added a new route, but it's not recognized because I didn't restart. So by the way, the slash does not affect slash at the end. All right, now it's ready. Internal error. There is an error there. I'm not sure what's going on. Let's try. You see, all of us, we didn't make it in the first place, in the first time. All of us. So here it is. What does it say here? Typo cannot set property of undefined. Oh, yes. Here, I think we changed that repository and we didn't test it. Let's see if this is still working first. Here it's working. Okay, good. So the repository is still innocent. So let's come here. Missing semicolon. Where is it? Sorry. So I did the add. The last one. Yeah, no problem. All right. So let's see what's going on here. No, not this one. I need to. No, where? Yeah, here. It's saying contact ID undefined. Contact ID undefined. Okay, let me try it one more time. Okay, yes, all right, so let me see. Okay, so let me come here. Just, this is this, all right, so I'll come here. Oh, it was contact. Anyway, let's try it this way. Is this correct? This one correct? All right. Okay, let's restart. By the way, this is the button to restart. Go back here. Try it again. Still. Contact ID cannot set property contact ID if undefined. Okay, I know what's going on. Sorry. Here is it. That's it. I understand what's going on. All I need to do, this is the suspect. Maybe that one is undefined, okay? And so let me see. So I restart this. I'll go back. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. So I sent this error. The reason why, you see here undefined. This guy is undefined. This request.body is undefined. So Express does not set this property for you. So remember, Express is intercepts the requests and does some work on behind the scenes to make your life easier. One of the things that the Express does, it basically gives you these two objects, request object to read from what the request is sending you, and the response is to respond. But the body does not get set. So you need another piece of middleware, another piece of thing you need to put in the pipeline, intercept the request, and set this property. So there is another library called the body parser. That body parser is the one that is responsible of intercepting the request, reading the body from the request, and setting it on that request.body property. Because we don't have that middleware intercepting our request, the body property is currently undefined. So let's install that. Install npm install body parser -- save. This will hopefully download this library and add an entry in the package.json. Meanwhile, oh, it was quick. Meanwhile, we go and steal something from here. This is the body parser thing. We need not all of this, but let me just explain it. All right. So in here, this is the plain Express. We need to add an extra middleware. So let me come here. This is not all right. Here it is. So I go ahead and load this body parser that I just downloaded. All right, and okay. So this is the 2 lines I need. Okay, not this one. Okay, basically this is what I did. I imported this body parser, and I make my app aware of it. This line, not sure I have to read about it, but this line I'm very sure about. What I'm saying, I'm asking the app, please add this middleware or add this interceptor along the way, the processing chain. So when I will explain this later on, but practically don't worry too much about it. Mechanically, just import the body parser and add it to your app using these 2 lines. Okay? Now, hopefully, by doing this, I go back and restart this. Okay? Now, if I go back here, go back and do send. See here? 1 successfully. And the body is now was intercepted by that body parser, and it got it as a JSON and placed it in request.body. And if we look at the console, have a look at this. If we look at the console, I got this nicely here. All right? Yes. Mm-hmm. Why do we have, sorry, which one? The ID. Which one, the ID? 9, because we added a lot during testing. Look at the file. By the way, you will see the file has been like crashed. What can I say? The file has been, but you can bring it back to a nice format. Go to code, reformat. By the way, when you are typing and your code goes out of formatting, just go to format, code and format. It's very important to have that nice layout. We have 9 because we were keeping adding more and more, okay? And you can see here, if I go to the headers, have a look at this. If I go to the headers, one of the headers is location. No, the headers of the response, not the headers of the, what is the header? Can somebody see location? Why cannot see location? No, this one is from the request. This one is from the response. In the response, I should see 200 OK, and I should see a location. It didn't came true. Maybe I didn't use the right way. Just give me 1 second. I will show it to you here. The right way to do it is this way. Oh, location is not a property, it is a function. Okay? So in here, have a look. If I go here, I go to this one, not this one, sorry. Here, location. Remember location? I should not set it like this. I should, because it is a function call. Then I restart. Then I come back here, resend this. You see here, I have a location header. So the idea is when after I add, I will send 201 created and the location. So Postman, you mean the tool? The tool is called Postman. Sorry? Yes. Now, just give me 3 minutes, please, because I need to show you a couple of very critical things. Now, we didn't have chance now to put it in a nice form, but let me show you an example here. Here is the hero. Similar, I have a form here where the user enters the hero name, the type, the code, and then there is a submit button. When they submit the form, what will happen is I will go to the hero, this one, the client-side hero. I have something called save hero. So when the submit button is clicked, this will be called. So what I do is, remember I have a form in the interface. Let me show it to you very quickly. Here is the form. Here it is. So when I say add, I get this form, and I say test, submit. When I click this submit, so what the script does, it goes and reads this text, reads this one, and reads this one, and creates an object out of it. And then it will use a fetch to post it to the server side. So here it is. So I'll go here. Yes, here it is. So here is how I grab the values of the text boxes. Say grab the name, grab the type, grab the code, wrap them all in one object. And this is the URL I want you to send it to. This is the verb I want you to use. And then I'll do a fetch. Say fetch it to this URL using post. You remember the content type header? Is application source JSON. I put the object as a string in the body, and that's it. Off to the server. When this is done, when I come back, I refresh the page by calling this get heroes again. So the page will be refreshed. Have a look at this. When I press submit, it will be refreshed and added. And the same form I am using for edit. Here is the edit. If I put 2 here, submit, it gets changed. Okay. Now the last thing I want to show you, if you want to pass data from one form to another. Okay. Maybe you have not reached that stage, but let me show you. Very, very simple way. Here it is. Like if you go to the root of this application, I put a file called index.html. If you put a file called index.html, by default, you will get that file loaded into the browser. Here is your login form. I didn't want to put your login form. I put some very rough one, not very polite. Who are you? What do you want? And I say, OK, submit. So this is your login form. When I put this one, it will basically go to the server, and it will route me to my choice. But in your case, the choice will be based on the type of user. Yeah. Okay. So here, submit. And basically, I jump to the hero, and it knows me as well. So that page, this page, passed the name to the next page. Are you following? Now, to do this is one line. Here it is. Here is the index. So after I post, let's say this is your login. You posted, you get back a user, and that user, what I do, in the browser, there is a built-in storage where you can store information in the browser. And that storage, it's accessible through this built-in variable called local storage. I just say, local storage, please remember this for me. But you have to put it as a string.
For each time it will save the current user that is logged in, right?
Yes, yes. And also, in the user, on the server side, I put a redirect URL. I'd say, you are coordinator. I want you to go to the coordinator page. You are a student. I want you to go to the student page. So I'll just say window.location, user.redirect, and it will redirect you. So these two lines, very, very important. Sorry? No, here, on the server side. Look at the server side. Here is the server side. Here is the server side. Just a second, I'll show you. Here is the server side. So on the server, let's say this is the login page. When you post to the root. And I'll get, from the body, I will get the username and password. But in here, I'm getting who you are and what you want. And then I'll say, OK, you asked for students, so I will redirect you to students. So I am adding an extra property to the user object to give you the page you should go back, you should go next. And here, if you are not asking for student, you must be asking for hero, because that's all I have. Yes, yes. And then I basically, what I do, I return this object in the response. On the client side, when I get it, on the client side, have a look at this. On the client side, when I get that object, I store it because I need it in future pages. And I say window is a built-in object. Location is the address bar that you see on top. I'm saying please redirect the user to this URL. Sorry, one line. Sorry, one last thing. Here is the hero. In the hero, when I have a look, I go to the storage to retrieve the user. So storage, local storage, is a place where you store information. And by the way, have a look at this. In the browser, you might not be realizing this. Your browser has a database and a storage area built in. If you go to resources, you can have a SQL database. We are not using this. One of them is called local storage. And this is your user info, user stored in here. So in the browser, you can store information. One page can store it, the other page can read it in one line of code. Local storage dot, the name of the thing that you want to store. The value must be a string. And then when you go in the destination where you want to read it, storage dot, the parameter, you have to deserialize it to JSON to make use of it. Is clear? Is a bit rough, this script, a rough explanation. So please go through it. It's there already in GitHub if you synchronize. If it's still not clear, please post a question on Piazza. I will clarify it further. Even if I have to do another small video and post it. So make use of Piazza and ask questions as you move forward. Okay? Thank you. Welcome. Yes, you're right. So